This is going to be a recording that talks about how to use the terminal from start to finish on the UTCS Linux lab machines. So right now what I have open is my iTerm on my MacBook. So you can see I'm Megan Avery in tilde, which means I am in the root directory of my MacBook. So the first thing I'm going to do is SSH into a lab machine. So I'm going to do SSH, which is the beginning of the command, and then host, which is my UTCS ID, so meg1022 at. And the next thing is the name of the computer, and I'm just going to say linux.cs.utexas.edu. It's going to ask me for my password. And so now I'm in. I'm going to clear the screen. So now I am in Skipper, at Skipper in the root directory. So the next thing is, if you're on a lab machine, you could do Control-Alt-T to open up a new terminal window for you. I can't do that since I'm SSH'd on my Mac, but that's what you would do on a lab machine. And so now that I'm here, if I do the up arrow, I get to see a history of what I called before. And so this is the easy way to go back to switch between two different commands, up arrow and down arrow for your history. If I do a history, the history command, it'll print the last 500 commands that I've done, which can be helpful. Like I did before, if I press clear, everything goes away and I start from scratch. I can do man, vi, or anything here. And if I do man vi, it'll get me to the manual pages for Vim, so I can look and see how everything is used. And to get out of the man pages, I press a Q. There's also the command echo, which what this does is it just reprints what you told it to. So I did echo hello world, and then it printed hello world to the screen. It's useful for bash scripting. If I started a long-running program, like say a Java program with recursion, I could hit Control-C to stop it, or cancel it running. This is helpful if you're writing like a Java command from the command line that ends up having an infinite loop. And if you did Control, Shift, and C, so if I highlight like this and do Control, Shift, C, and then I do Control, Shift, V, that's how I copy and paste within the terminal. You can't just use, if you try to do Control, C or Control, V, it won't work because that's what I tried here. I forgot the Shift. And then there's also the sudo command, which stands for super user do. We can't use that on our lab machines. We can only, because we don't have root access. But if you have root access, it's a way to force the computer to do something it doesn't want to do. And then exit will close the terminal window just without having to hit the little X in the corner. Okay, so let's talk about directories and files within the stuff now. So within that, there's ls, which it stands for list, and it'll list everything. If you do ls with -al, it'll list all the things that are in the file, including the hidden things, along with their permissions, the owner, and what permissions are being, and what group you're in. And then it has the size and the date of last modification for the files. If you do pwd, it says a print working directory. It'll tell you where you are. So I'm in /u/Megan right now. So there's also the cd command, which cd stands for change directory. So I can do like cd documents. And now I'm inside the documents folder, you can tell, if I print the working directory again. There's also the tab, so if I do cd bse, I can hit the tab and it'll autocomplete the rest of it for me, which is really nice. So now there's the makedir command, so like makedir test. And what that does is it creates a new directory called test for me. So now I can do cd into test ls to figure out the test is empty. There is cp, which is short for copy. So I could copy colors.c. So it goes cp, source, and then destination. So I just copied colors.c into tests. There's also scp, which is for secure transfer. And this one is just what you do over a network. So there's and it's source destination again, so you could copy from your MacBook to a lab machine or from a lab machine back to your MacBook or whatever terminal you're using. There is move MV, so like I could say move Perl to here, and now Perl is inside a test, but it's not inside of 1UP, which is documents. So I've actually moved it all together. There's also the remove commands. So I want to remove colors.c. So now colors.c is gone. It's like I trashed it. There's also touch, which what this does is it creates it updates the last reference time. So if you touch a file that already exists, it just updates when it was last touched or updated. And if you touch a file that doesn't exist, it will create the file for you. There's also cat, which stands for concatenate, which prints everything out the screen. So I can do cat something like, so I can do something like cat perl emails.txt or emails.pl, and it'll print the entire thing to my screen. So for something a little bit more complicated, there is a command called chmod, which stands for change modification settings. And there are a couple of things. There are different kinds of permissions, right? So if you look at this, there are 10 bits here. The first one tells you whether or not it's a directory. The first 3 are your permissions. The next 3 are group permissions. And then the next 3 are everybody's permissions. So you can tell from Perl, Perl is a directory that I have read, write, and execute access to. And then the other ones are directories that nobody else can see or execute these things at all. So the next thing we're going to look at is grep.